We begin with the big battle brewing in the wizarding world of Silicon Valley. The wands are out between Snap CEO Evan Spiegel and Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. This after Snap reportedly conjured up a whole chamber of secrets on Facebook in a dossier titled Project Voldemort, according to the Journal. The document lays out all the ways Facebook allegedly tried to thwart the competition, including discouraging influencers from referencing Snap in their posts and even preventing Snap content from trending on Instagram. Now Snap is hoping the Ministry of Magic, known in our muggle world as the FTC, will get up to their wizarding ways and step in. But will regulators be able to work any real magic here, guys?
That was one of the best opens in the history of the show.
He doesn't even know what to say anymore.
I don't even know. I mean, it's incredible.
Do you even know what she said?
I know. No, I'm familiar with this Harry Potter thing. I'm just quickly.
Yes.
There are like 8 of these movies.
Yes.
They're all. It's the exact same movie.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's just the kids get older. They run around with wands.
Don't spoil the ending for me, guy. I haven't seen any of them.
It sounds a lot like Fast Money.
It's a scam. We just get older and say the same thing.
We run around with our wands.
Good job, Steve Gross.
Back to topic.
I want to dislike Facebook in the worst way. I want to stand here and say, you know what, the stock has headed significantly lower. But the reality is, technically, it's done everything it should have done. Now, into the summer, into the July quarter, we said, you know what, this is what's going to happen. It's going to go back and test that July high from last year to 11. It's going to fail. That's exactly what happened. So you have this major double top. But you go back to that quarter on July 25th or so, outstanding. People aren't fleeing. Advertisers have nowhere to go. Their operating margins seem to be improving. ARPU was better than expected. Nice. So as much as I want to hate it, and as much as regulation could crush these guys and gals, I think you got to buy the stock into their October 30th release.
ARPU being average revenue per user.
I teed that up for you.
Of course.
Well, so ARPU is actually holding fine. Obviously, all the ad metrics are actually quite amazing. And the bull case for people that think there could be more regulation is that Facebook sum of the parts, including WhatsApp and Instagram, that are highly valuable properties with massive user bases that may be under monetized at this point, leads to a place where people might begin to value the company otherwise. Because as far as I'm concerned, Facebook is trading at a discount, has underperformed the sector, and despite the fact that you haven't seen people migrating really en masse to other forms, and in fact, I would argue that they and Google control the ad space in today's media world, even more so than traditional media companies. So far, Facebook is not yielding a premium on its multiple. And why is that?
So is that discount the regulatory discount?
I think it's a regulatory discount. I think it's the idea that the challenge is the narrative that Facebook is trying to create a super app, which includes their WhatsApp, which includes Instagram, and the traditional what you think of Facebook, and also includes their Libra, right? So the problem you have with Facebook, or the risk to Facebook's story, is that they can't get any of these things done, and then all of a sudden this combination, this super app that they're trying to get together, doesn't happen, and you're just left with all these disparate parts. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but I think that's probably why Facebook hasn't hit new highs yet.
Look at all these instances in which Facebook allegedly copied or came out with a feature that was very similar to Snap. And the FTC, by the way, isn't just talking to Snap. They're also talking to other previous acquisition targets or smaller competitors that would have been acquisition targets.
So, but how many times has Apple copied Samsung? Limitless?
7.
Right? Exactly. So the point is, it's okay to be copied. Are we using it as a template, though, that these big companies are being broken up? I think that's the bigger thing, is that if now all of a sudden you start to break up Facebook, does that domino through the whole large cap tech?
But is Facebook, you can make a bull case that if they do try to break up Facebook, the stock should actually be significantly higher. To Tim's earlier point. So I hate the win-win thing, and we talked about this last week. But right now, and BK's bear case is probably a 6 to 9 month or a year bear case. But into earnings a month from now or 35 days from now.
I don't know how the sum of the parts is a positive this time around, because it's a forced thing by the government. It's an overreach. I think that's a screaming negative this time.
Well, if it's a win-win, then why would there still be a discount to valuation because of the regulatory risk?
I think Facebook needs a catalyst of some kind, and certainly since we had all the the dynamics around the elections and all the issues that brought on extra scrutiny from a regulatory perspective and a privacy perspective. Again, I think the privacy issue is as important as the regulatory issue, even though people haven't walked with their feet. I think at its core, Facebook is a company who has a product that at some point there is something that could be mildly tenuous about the loyalty there. But it comes down to this stock has traded roughly between 20 and 30 times multiple for the last 5 years, and traded at a massive discount even to something like a Microsoft at this point. When you look at mega cap tech, they're apples and oranges, except for the fact that there's a scarcity in the social media space. As far as I'm concerned, Facebook should be trading at such a bigger number that the irony here is that if you break this company up and you force it to break down these core businesses, I think they're going to stand on their own, and I think they're going to be worth a whole lot more.
I think you bring up a good point in terms of the privacy issue, because these are separate issues. These are some of the biggest issues, right? That Congress, that the FTC, whoever wants to come down on big tech for, whether it be using their dominant position or the privacy issues. So, two huge things. And for Facebook, they're in the crosshairs for both of them.
Yeah, I think it's important to separate those two, right? Because you have one allegation or one thing that Congress may come down on them for, which is kind of using their position to bully around and push around competition, to keep competition out. Now, that's an age-old tactic that everybody from every industry has used. That's one thing. The privacy issues, to me, go a little bit more to the credibility of the company and exposes them a bit to potential competitors. Now, we haven't seen a real competitor. They have a massive moat because of the size of their social network, because of that network effect, but you can start to erode the credibility. And to, Guy was saying, my bear case, I'm not necessarily bearish on Facebook. I'm just not crazy bullish on it, but it is a longer term type of thing. It's not like the next month all of a sudden this thing's going to fall apart, but you can start to see how the story begins to deteriorate and erode.
Totally agree. I couldn't agree more. But then, again, go back to the second quarter release on July 24th. Analysts, 6 of them at least, were tripping over themselves collectively to raise their price targets. And the price targets that I see are anywhere from 225 to 260. So the stock has sold off, and technically it did what it should have done. But now you have to ask yourself, in an environment where this broader market just goes sideways and doesn't seem to want to go lower, doesn't Facebook sort of set up on the long side into earnings a month from now? I would say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it pains me to say it.
If you want the market to move higher, you need Facebook and you need Google, as far as I'm concerned. These are the two names that I think have the most opportunity from a valuation perspective. The companies that certainly have probably the most strikes against them in terms of either the world of the analyst community or just where people are positioned. And I think that's kind of independent. Facebook above 191, kind of breaking above 195. That is something that's very bullish overall for markets.
Is this good for Twitter or Snap?
I think Twitter has gone under radar. Oddly enough, Twitter has been the winner out of all these. Snap is up 210% year to date. We didn't even talk much about that. That screams of the lack of positioning to the long side. I think that's probably run its course already, I would say, 210%.
All right. Let's turn to sorting up sorting hats? No.
Huh?
Sorting hats? I don't sort hats.
No, I don't.
No, I mean, I just stack them. I've got a big stack of baseball hats in my room.
Social stocks belong in
Also put your hats actually upside down.
I thought perhaps it was another Harry Potter reference. I'm not too familiar with the Harry Potter
sorry.
books, and so
Hats.
I thought perhaps I was
Potter.
missing something, but apparently not.